Hi, everyone, and welcome to the High Vibe Nation, a focus on inspiration and revealing tips for raising awareness and better living. It's time to shift your life.
Johnny Richardson is on with us tonight. We are so excited to have him here. He's going to be talking to us about how he discovered throughout his career two common denominators. On his journey, he loved helping people, and he was very successful in his work ethic. And he always, though, still felt a little bit empty and just not satisfied with where he was and what was happening in his life. After a career in timeshare sales transplanted him in Las Vegas on his own, he opened his own real estate company and is now driven by helping agents, his operation, clients, and fellow realtors reach their financial goals through real estate transactions. His life mission is to assist people in achieving their goals, and he loves staying in the high vibration of his passion. So, welcome to the show, Johnny. Such a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me, young ladies. I'm very excited to be here and the presence of two powerful females that are just doing astronomical things out there and helping people. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun and beneficial to a lot of people. So I'm really pumped up over the next hour. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much. And of course, this StreamYard, I'm always trying to set up my phone so I can get the comments to show everybody, and I forget to turn my volume down. So thank you, everyone.
There you go. Well, at least you're on top of it. That's all that matters. That's what's important. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be on and share with you a little bit of my story, or a lot of my story, really, and just kind of give you the walks through that brought me where I am now in Las Vegas. So to kind of give everybody a little feedback and everything else, where it all started, it was 1980 in a station wagon to a hospital, and a little baby was being born. I'm joking. Okay.
No, but that's great. I mean, really, we kind of want to know, like, where did you grow up, and what was your life like as a kid?
All right. So growing up was in South Jersey. Are you girls familiar with, like, I'm sure Atlantic City or Philadelphia? So I was right smack dab in the middle of all that. So which was super country and super royal. And growing up, my mom wanted a place that was just like that. She grew up in the city. So she grew up in the city, and she's like, I'm going to give my kids something different and give them the country that I never got a chance to experience as a kid. And growing up as a kid, I'll be honest, I was not a fan. I was like, can we move to the city? I didn't even know the city. I knew I just wanted it. I'm like, the city looks cool, Mom. And she's like, no. She grew up in Wisconsin, where it was pretty rough. A lot of gangs. Wasn't the best upbringing for her. She had a difficult time growing up with her mother. Wasn't the best role model, I guess you could say. And she just wanted something completely different. And my mom did an amazing job raising me, going a different direction. So growing up, I always had that fire inside of me that I wanted something outside of the country. So as I grew up and grown through my teens, I was into the sports. I wrestled. I loved competition. I loved being on the wrestling mat and being with somebody else. It was mono, e-mono. It drove me. I mean, I got so excited about it. I thought it was just the best thing out there as far as sports go. And I still have that competitive side. I think it's really healthy to have that. I think it's really important to have that aspect because it helps you out in a lot of different avenues growing up. So as I got out of high school, I still had that. I'm like, I want to be in the city. So in my early teens, I ventured off to Philadelphia for a short period. So I was out there. I'm like, I'm in the city. I'm having fun, and did all the craziness and everything else. I didn't take the traditional route as far as going to college, because I'm just like, I want to be in the city. I want to do something else.
Right.
What I went to school for was auto body. So that's initially what I was doing. And I found out very quickly, I mean, super quick, I'm like, this isn't for me. I'm like, I'm not having fun. This isn't exciting. I'm like, I didn't have a mentor to really guide me. So I had zero vision, but I knew I wanted something, and there was something there. So I
Right.
end up in Atlantic City down the shore. And then my dad opens the door to me, which really implemented the work ethic in. He was always like push, push, push. My mom was that softer side, be nice to people. It was a good combination, put it that way. My mom really taught me, my dad was teaching me bad things, but my dad taught me to be hard, work hard, bust your butt. My mom was teaching me good morals along the way on how to treat people. So I feel like I was really blessed because I got the best of both worlds versus too much of one making me too soft or too hard. And I always go back to that with my mom. And so I'm in Atlantic City, and my dad's like, you're a hustler. Go into the car business. You'll do great with it. And there I spent about 8 years in that business.
Wow.
And I did amazing with it. I did great in the car business. I was great with people, sitting them down, eyeing up a goal. It wasn't just turn and burn. I enjoyed it. I loved going to work. I was like 9 to 9s. I was like, can I work more? I'm like, it was just, I can remember Saturdays being in there till midnight, and I just loved it. And I didn't have as much vision as far as where it was going to take me, but I know I loved it. And I was like, all right, I'll stay in the car business, where I was at.
Let me back you up for a second. What did you love the most about that? Was it your connection with people? Was it developing these relationships with people that just kept you so passionate about, that car business in that area of your life?
There's two aspects that I loved. One was the competition level. That brings me back to the sports end. And number two was the relationship side. To the relationship, I can remember, this is in my 20s, I'm 39 now. In my 20s, being in there during the middle of winter, which in Jersey, wintertime is quiet for the car business. It's very cold.
Oh, okay.
And I'm stacks of envelopes and all sorts of goodies for my clients that I was constantly, I knew my clients so well, sending them things and doing things and reaching out and being more than just a salesperson and a piece of their family. To where years after I left the business, I'd run into folks, old peers, and they said, Johnny, do you realize 5 years later, we have people walking in to our dealership asking for you by your first name. Wow. And we got 3 people, they're like, we don't even know who this guy is. And we're like, yeah, we know who he is. And then it was just unbelievable, the relationships that I developed with people. At that point, it doesn't end up being work anymore. And it's like you're there providing a service and helping people get to their goal. And I think most people out there overlook that. They just think of A to B, getting them A to B. Okay, we made a commission, they're happy. But they don't realize how much they changed that person's life, how much they made an adjustment to where even in the car business, they were in a broken down Toyota Corolla, not knowing what they're going to do or even if they could get approved. And then you showed them an SUV that they created memories in. They created memories. They went on vacations. And when you treat somebody right, and you make it memorable and you're in constant contact and letting them know this wasn't just about me making a paycheck. I'm here for you, whatever you need. I mean, much more is made than just a transaction at that point. I mean, much more. So you are no longer coming in there working, like they say, going through the grind and everything else. I've been accused of that most of my life. They're like, you're such a grinder. I'm like, you really have it confused. I'm like, there isn't anything that I've done that I didn't love doing. So I wasn't grinding. I'm just really good at working hard. And when I'm involved in it, I'm addicted to it. I'm obsessed with it. I want to keep going, doing more and more and more. You see it as grinding.
Tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm
Yeah.
digging what you're saying.
And you were young, and you were in your early 20s. I mean, what do you think contributed to you having that kind of mindset at such an early age?
A part of it, I always was inspired to have my own business. But once again, I didn't really have the vision or mentorship or know the how-tos. But in a sense, the car business, I was running like my own business. I was doing things other people wouldn't do. I was putting things in place for clients. I was taking ownership for every person that came through versus I just work for them. I just work for them. I'm sorry. Yep, I just work here. They don't do that. No, how is it I can help you? What can I do? How can I assist you and help you get in? Maybe it's something broke a year later. Maybe it's they lost a key fob. Taking that person, there's a big difference. Think about it every time you go into a store. When you take somebody by the hand and you say, let me walk you over to this person's office versus, hey, it's down there. I mean, that's such a bad feeling. Somebody's like, hey, it's down there. You're still lost most of the time. Versus, let me walk you over. Let me introduce you to Mr. Robinson. He's going to take good care of you so you get all your problems taken care of. People remember that. And there was one gentleman in the car business, the GM at that time at that Toyota store. He would teach me those little tips along the way. Today, to this day, I use little things that he gave me in my 20s that I use with everybody else that I work with.
Wow.
And that's one of them. I mean, you take care of people. You don't just point them. You want people to feel like they're people, not like they're just an object being moved.
Absolutely.
So all it takes, I mean, what is it? How much energy is that? How much time? 30 seconds? I mean, 30 seconds and you just change somebody's day. You just change your relationship with them forever. I mean, because they remember that. They do. And they also remember when you shortcut it as well. I mean, they will. They're like, oh, he couldn't take 10 seconds to show me. And then you wonder why somebody's not, happy with you. And it's like, you don't think about how much you impacted them by that little tiny thing. And I don't believe anybody's perfect out there, but if you're always striving towards excellence at every opportunity to be better at it and take another step, I mean, that compacts and compounds, to where you're just doing amazing things for people. And that the work ethic my dad gave me, and also in the tools I was taught in the business, really helped me form who I am now in the business that I'm currently in. Because a lot of people do say to me, there's like, Johnny, you went through the car business for 8 years. No matter what you do, whatever you touch turns to gold. Like, that's not the case. I'm like, you think you just spend 8 years? You can spend 8 years doing anything. It doesn't mean you're going to be good. Yeah. I spent time in that and researched and looked at every opportunity as far as learning and getting better, not just in a business, but also as a person.
I think that it goes back to what you said, your mother having the soft side and that always treat people kindly. And then your father, being more geared towards the work ethic. Were your parents together through your whole childhood?
So they were together up until I was 18 years old. So until I was 18, my father, he worked, but then my dad had a dark side. My dad had a dark side. He liked to drink, and so eventually I turned 18, and his dad took over. The bad took over the good is what it came down to, and they had split up. So my dad, was still in my life for a short period at that time. And then we had a falling out because he just turned into a very not a nice person, put it that way. Just not nice all the way around. Alcohol had taken over everything. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to make decisions in life to take people out of your life no matter what their stand is, mother, father, aunt, best friend, whoever it is. And I made that decision, and then I got a phone call years later that he had cancer, and I hadn't talked to him for years. And I was like, man, I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I'll be honest. I'm like, I talked to a friend, and they were like, if you do not make a visit, it will haunt you. You have to visit. So I went there. I flew out to Jersey. Turned out he had 8 months to live. And he wanted to talk. He was very upset. And I said, listen, I said, times are past. I mean, we're past that. So let's just enjoy our time that we have now. That's what's most important. And I spent a week in Jersey with him. I jumped on a plane to come back to Vegas. And when I landed in Vegas, it was like pretty much the wheels hit the ground. I get a phone call, all turned around. He had like days to live.
Wow.
So I jumped right back and, put my dad to rest is what it came down to. And he ended up passing at that point. He did. And it's unfortunate, my dad taught me lessons which I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of those lessons as well as what not to do with your life also at the same time. And it is.
How old were you at this time?
Man, when he passed, I was in my early 30s. Next month would be the anniversary for 6 years. For 6 years that he passed now. So it's been 6 years that he passed away. And, I remember the good things, and it's a reminder as far as we don't want to waste time doing things that are nonsense and don't make sense. To value people, that's very important. We never know how it's going to impact somebody. And also at the same time, valuing ourselves and not making rash and bad decisions with ourselves and just abusing ourselves. It really is. That's emotionally, that's with chemicals, alcohol. We abuse ourselves in many different levels, I believe it, as human beings. And it's like valuing and having that love and respect for yourself. It's really important. It definitely is.
Do you think that you got that from your mom's side? Because, going back to the idea of, so you got this work ethic from your father, you got this, treat other people with kindness. And then you go out into the workforce and you're in, the car business all these years, and you're just developing this sense of self. And you are really aware that it's how you treat others that you build relationships, and you build quality relationships. And these people, I'm sure, were, loving you during that time. And so you go into the car business and you're learning all these things about loving what you do. Then what?
2008 happened. It's kind of funny to have that conversation. Not funny, but it's ironic having it now because we're not in that same situation, but it's a lot of the talk. As far as 2008, car business at that point was tightening up. I was a manager, and they laid off 50, and I said, I'm in it to win it. And I said, I'm not taking a severance pay. I'm staying here. 6 months later, I crawled in that office begging for a check to leave. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I said, let me just collect my check, pull my peanuts together here, and just figure it out. And I spent a very short period in the restaurant business while I was figured out I never wanted to come close to a restaurant besides eat at it. So that was check.
That's another check.
Yeah, that's check. We got that off the list. And my uncle and family are Atlantic City firefighters. And he had talked to me. So we were in conversation. He's like, there's always that opportunity. He's like, what I do is I'm a firefighter and I sell real estate part-time. I sell 4 or 5 houses a year. I make some good money. And I'm like, okay, this sounds exciting. I would love to be a firefighter. I love helping people. I do, I won't lie. I enjoy being in the spotlight. I'm picturing myself saving lives, coming down the ladder, at least saving a cat out of a tree, the smallest thing. So I'm like, so what happened was, as I got my real estate license at that time, so a timeshare company in Atlantic City heard about me through the car business. through mutual contacts. They reach out and they say, we need somebody with a real estate license. We heard you just got it, and we are dying to talk to you. And so I talked to my uncle, and that time in Atlantic City, and still like that with fire departments, there was a long wait to actually get into the department. I'm like, all right. He's like, you could wait a year, but my suggestion is do timeshare. You can make good money and you'll have fun, and do that for a year and come right back. Well, at that time, I was like, when I say living on pennies, I was less than pennies.
Oh, wow.
And I walk into timeshare, and when I tell you, I went from just completely broke to all of a sudden just blowing up. I
Wow.
had no idea where it was going to take me. I had no idea at all. So
where was your mindset? Where was your head?
At that point, I go in and I just like, I went in and it was scary because I'm like, I don't know, timeshare, vacations, cool, I guess.
But how were you dealing with the positive side of yourself that knows all about, these things that you self-awareness, the things you said earlier about yourself? Now you're in the contrast, and what did you learn during all this?
During that time period, the people I was surrounded by opened me up as more of a business side. But I found I loved doing it, but I still hadn't hit my area to where I was like, this is it forever. This is it. I'm going to retire here. There was a gap in there still at that time. There was still a gap. I was excited. I was doing very well. People are putting me up on a pedestal and they're just loving me, which is a great feeling. But at the end, I'm like, there is something missing here. And that was 6 years. 6 years doing that.
Did you have any sense for what that might be?
Really, I didn't at that time in New Jersey. It started when I ended up being transferred to Vegas, because I spent 6 years and they closed up Atlantic City departments, and they said, hey, we want to put you in Myrtle Beach. And I was like, no way. If I'm going any place, I'm going to Vegas. Mm-hmm. So I end up transferring out here to Vegas. I do great with the company, but very short period after Vegas, somebody opened me up to an idea of running a marketing department for nightlife. I'm like, I don't need to. I do well. They're like, we think you'll like it, and we think you'll be really good at it. So I didn't need to, but I was like, let me do that. And I was really good at it once again. So when I had a conversation, I can tell you right now, I'm walking down the street of Treasure Island, right across from Harris Casino. It's dark. It's probably about 10:30. No, I'd say 9 o'clock her time. And I'm having a conversation. I'm like, look, I have this business. I feel like I need to go do my own thing, but I'm also timeshare doing very well. And my mom had said to me, I can hear her voice right now saying, Johnny, you are never going to be happy until you run your own business, until you're in business for yourself. It's just not you're just not going to be there. You keep hitting these moments to where everything's great, but you're looking around and you're like, this isn't it. This is not the end point. At that point, I'm like, you're right. And I really didn't know. And at that point, I started thinking, okay, I don't want to, the nightlife was fun. That was temporary, but it wasn't something I want to do forever.
And how old were you at this point?
31-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, right around 31. I'd be 31, 32 at this point. I'm 39 now. So at that point there, I had met somebody that was a lender. And that, so we were seeing each other, and then they opened me up to real estate again. I'm like, cool, okay, you know what? That's where I started. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I met an insurance person, said, hey, build real estate through insurance. So I end up going into insurance. I walk away at timeshare at the top of my game, and their mouths are dropping as I'm leaving. They're like, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm hoping I'm not crazy, but I'm doing it. And I'm walking out, and I do very well in the insurance industry. Once again, I'm helping.
I have to ask you this question. What gave you the courage to take that step?
Yes.
I wouldn't say it was as much. It was more than anything. I just pulled away the fear. I said, no, I'm nervous, but as long as I'm not scared, I will be okay, and I just can take the jump. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to risk it for this. I'm willing to risk something better on the other side, and just eliminate the fear that's right there and just go for it. And I feel like there at the times when most people are saying, "What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do?" Most people around you are saying, "No, don't do it," because they wouldn't do it. No, don't do it. No, don't do it. So I have learned when people are telling me don't do it, do it.
What was driving you? Was it the success that was driving you? More money, happiness, fulfillment? What was driving you?
I would say a fulfillment was a huge one. I mean, the fulfillment, because I don't care how much money. Yeah, I am money driven. A lot of us are, but it's really not the money. It's the tools money gets you. It's where it's going to take you to. So when I think of fulfillment, achieving something, achieving greatness, doing something amazing, and making my mom proud. And excited, like my son did this. My son is here. Look at him. Look at this was me. I raised him. I implemented all of this into my son, and look at what he achieved out of it. Yeah, he was a salesperson. He was a car guy, and look, he developed himself into this person that wants to help people, assist people, put people in better positions, and build an amazing business doing it. Because you can make a lot of money in a lot of different businesses, but if you're not fulfilled in changing people's lives, I think it's temporary. It's only going to last so long. Most of the time, people like that are fake. I mean, they're just doing it for one reason, and people figure you out after a while. They will. They definitely will, 100%. You really don't have good intentions, which are mine were to be out there helping people. I wanted to do something big and be known for doing something big. Maybe that's a little bit selfish because there's always a little selfish factor in there when you do anything like donating. But the fact is if I'm going to be known big, it's going to be for changing people, helping people, and getting people to the next level. But I've been told, it's like, John, you're doing great with what just you're doing. Just stick to that. Put your head to the ground. And you're doing that. I'm like, you don't understand. I can't walk in and be excited if I'm not fulfilled and I'm not hitting these achievements where I want to change people's lives and help them get to another area. And that's what happened in the insurance company. I did very well. I was a presenter. I was bringing people in. I felt in the beginning I was changing their lives, but after 2 years, I didn't feel like I was impacting them enough. I felt like it was just, I felt literally, I woke up one day, I woke up out of bed and I'm going in, I got to have a meeting with a lot of guests, and something in my heart like dropped to the floor. And I'm walking in and the excitement was not there. It wasn't. It was, oh boy, something's going on, something not good. So I had to do a presentation in front of a room, and I turn around and I'm looking at the room, and I'm like this close to telling everybody, you know what, just run. I don't have it for you. I'm not giving you the magic. Nope, don't have it. My agents were there. I had to muscle through it. It was the worst feeling I ever had in my life. But I had walked out, did my closeout meeting with the agents, and I'm like, this is it. I said, we're shutting the doors. I'm going to help everybody get the leadership that you deserve, but I need to continue with my goal where I started at years ago, which was real estate. I felt that it was knocking in the back of my head. I was like, this is where you belong. This is like everything you've done, from cars to the insurance to the timeshare, everything compacted together, and you started that back in 2010, and you have been pulled away. And I don't think I was pulled away in a bad way. I think I was pulled away in a good way, because I think all of those moments and those relationships and people I came in contact with that taught me lessons about business and helping people and assisting people has molded me into the person I am right now, into the business owner I am. Because I've taken pieces of all that and put it together, where I've had agents ask me, I've had people approach me, and they're like, you seem like you've been in the business 20 years. I'm like, take off like 17 and a half. And they're like, how is this possible? I'm like, well, what I did was much different than anybody else. I was brought into careers, I learned them, I mastered them, and I didn't just sweep it under the carpet. I took something from every experience out there, and it started with my mom and my father implementing those two keys into my life with the work ethic and treating people and valuing those relationships and putting those together and then guiding through everything else. I talked about it with somebody just yesterday. I'm reading a book right now, Principles by Ray Dalio, and I
love that book.
Good, right? It's my second time. Yes, it's a really good one. And right around page 150, it goes over, no pain, no gain, which we use very loosely. It's like, oh, the gym, no pain, no gain. But if we relate that to everything in life, that we will have so much more success. And if we welcome in the pain and we welcome in the resistance,
yes,
we will end up with more gain. We will get more. We will have better relationships. There's people have been out there married for 20, 30, 50 years. They will all tell you, yes, there was pains along the way. You congratulate them. There's pains, and they have such a strong marriage at this point. There's friendships that you've had for many years. There's positions, there's businesses, there's everything you've developed throughout your life. If you're not going through those moments to where it's not a puzzle piece, it just slips in, boop. It just, I don't think there's a story out there that just automatic woke up, that's perfect.
I think that's such a great point, because I believe that's really, you have to have some real strategies for how to do that. You really have to have a mindset that supports you in that. And so what do you think it was that helped you to cultivate that over the years?
It was a lot of just throwing myself into the uncomfortable, without a doubt. So learning those tools and having those tools and using them, but also having, or you had brought up, is the fear. So we may know a lot of things and what we have to do, but our brain and our subconscious is telling us, "Well, that feels scary. You can do it, but that feels very uncomfortable. That's very uncomfortable." And I'm always pushing myself more to be more uncomfortable, because I know the other side is the sun's gonna be shining. It's gonna be better, just like a workout. Once again, you go through those massive push-ups, you're gonna be all dialed in and feeling good. So that it's almost like when things feel easy now, I'm like, I get scared. I'm like, ooh, please, something's wrong. No, something's wrong. Give me some fight. Give me some challenges, because this doesn't feel right. This is, like they say, it's too easy. I believe it's the truth. I mean, you want that fight. You want to fight for something. Think about like with dating, for example. You're dating in the beginning, and it's exciting, a little cat and mouse. Maybe I can get together, and you want it, you want it. And it's like, yeah, come over this time. It's like, oh, that was too easy. That was too easy. I want the fight. We want that in every portion of our life. So I've learned to look for that fight. Give me the fight. Give me a challenge to get in there.
What about, okay, let me say this. What about looking at it from another perspective? What about saying to yourself, wow, I'm getting really good at this. I'm getting really good at directing my life.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I'm with you. No, definitely.
Heck, it doesn't gotta be hard.
Yeah.
Let's take it easy.
You know, somebody told me not long ago, they said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that's almost when it does, it's like I am getting good at this. Because no matter what circumstances put in front of you, it's like, all right, got it. Another one. Check, check, check. Just
That's
like
so great. And Sherry and I were on a call earlier with a friend of ours, Bob Donnell, who's a wonderful, wonderful coach. And he was talking about the same idea, and he calls it emotional currency, you know, just like kind of paying it forward in a way. And it's like, yeah, you know, it's going to hurt a little bit now, but the reward in the end will be so much greater than that little bit of pain right now.
You know, there was somebody that I can remember. There's a gentleman by the name of Skip. When I first got in the car business, and there was two things that he had told me. One is, Johnny, if you want to make a six-figure income, don't expect it to be easy. And I never forgot that. And then two, he talked about emotional currency. I must have been 21. And he says, remember this. This is the way he explained it to me. He says, if you want something, you know, there's your bank account. You deposit, then you withdraw, not the other way. And just that, if we treat everything that way, you know, in relationships, if we want something, if it's hard, we put in our time, we put in our deposit, then we can pull out. And that's a lot of people just want to pull out. They're like, oh, let me get it. Well, you haven't made your deposit yet. Once you put your deposit in, and that emotional currency, right? That's how you stated emotional currency. I mean, if you picture that, I mean, the gain will be so much greater. I mean, you're constantly depositing into people, you're into those relationships. And speaking of relationships, when you're thinking about putting deposits in, over the last year, there's a book I read, The 5 Love Languages. And that made me think even more when it comes to relationships, where I've spent more time on this now, to where really understanding people, because like one person, you may say, hey, you look very nice today. You know, that's a deposit. But the person on the left of them, you may say, you look very nice, but it really doesn't matter. You know, as far as that isn't their love language. It's not words of affirmation. They're actually more receiving gifts, which is inexpensive when you study into it. It's like my favorite gum is Dentine Fire. Somebody brings me a Dentine Fire, it's like $1. I mean, they just made my whole day. It's like, yeah,
Dark chocolate. It's like,
yeah.
Mine's ice cream. I love ice cream.
Yes. Gotcha. So
I won the lottery for that moment.
I love it. But if you're making those deposits, and you really take the time, and then there's a third thing the same guy had taught me, I'll never forget, is he said, Johnny, seek to understand before seeking to be understood. And at that time, it resonated with me, but I really couldn't figure it out until I was about 32. And I always thought about it, and then to where I slowed down more, and like, I really have to ask more questions, get to know more people, and understand what's important to them, because the same things that are important to me may not be important to them. You know, they may like me, but something else that makes them tick and happy and excited and really changes their day and brightens their day. And that just, like, it was amazing. I mean, 21 years old, he tells me this, and it just sat with me, and it played over and over. I think about it and think about it and think about it.
That brings me to think of something too, you know, because Bob Donnell is so amazing at how he does this, but he says that you get better at asking questions too. So, you know, that leads to another relationship building, you know, important quality is asking better and better questions of the people and yourself.
No, what I feel the best way is going in layers is when it comes down to. It's like a lot of people are like, well, I ask questions. I ask them how they are. I say, how's the dog? Okay, how's work? I'm like, it sounds like a robot. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's, I almost have, I teach on a system that will help people kind of coach them. So this will help you hit layers. If you just hit this acronym, you hit forward, you go over like, for instance, how's the family been? You know what I mean? How's the family? Well, how are the kids? The kids are in college. What college are they going to? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
how many more years do they have? Are they very excited about college? You're hitting layer
Mm-hmm.
after layer after layer versus just check. Oh, kids are good. Oh,
Right.
job's good. Oh,
Right.
it's good. You're
Right.
really not being like. I mean, you're not making a friend. You're just checking off some boxes. And what the same thing the postman knows. Like, he's probably even knows them better. So it's like, yeah, so 100% as far as getting to know somebody. And I don't believe that we're taught this growing up. Most of us aren't. We
No.
really have to go outside as far as whether even if somebody went to school for business, they're not teaching you this in business. I mean, and these are things that are very effective and they help you in making relationships because whether you do real estate, whether you do insurance, no matter what it is, cars, selling furniture, online stuff, it's all about forming relationships. It is all, that's all you're doing is you're making relationships and you're making relationships. And that the best way to do that is getting to know people and asking them questions and really caring about them and spending time with them. And things stop being work at that point. Things are not a grind anymore.
Right.
They're not frustrated. Everything's coming around the way it's supposed to. It definitely is. And you have a better quality of life for you and the ones in front of you. I mean, you do, and you're more enjoyable to be around.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like through the insurance business, I was really good and I liked helping people, but there were parts that made me like, I've been nicknamed the shark because I love sharks, but people misconfuse it. I think I was more like a shark in the insurance business because I was just out, if let me help you, let me do this, da, 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 da. I was almost too aggressive. I was too aggressive and didn't slow down as much. And that was part of it with not being fulfilled. I was just kind of in emotion, doing that in emotion, and not emotional like I should be. And getting to know people and slow down even more. And that
Well,
was a
let me
part of
ask you a question that's come on right here, right now. So we're moving more to an internet and an online type of business. Ashley's asking, how can I make my online business successful and develop the relationships I need to help me succeed with it? Any
what
suggestions for Ashley?
Yeah. What kind of online business is it, Ashley? I'm
It's a
curious.
fitness clothing business.
It's a fitness clothing business.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as it really comes down to still developing relationships. So is Ashley big on social media? I'm assuming she would be. She's an online business.
She's my
What?
daughter.
No, is it really? Oh, this is awesome. Oh, I love it. Did you set that up?
No, I didn't. I swear. She's my oldest daughter. She's my 31-year-old daughter.
Oh, that's awesome.
She just came
So,
on and asked that question.
something I listened somebody speak, not it was probably over the last year, and anything on social media and I remind myself of this because I get busy because you have to slow down. So we're out there to get as much attention as possible in a business, right? So we want to get as much attention and as much eyes on us. So we'll post and put up like a new clothing line, a pair of shorts, for instance, a new pair of shorts, and they're like, "Hey, check out these shorts." And they're like, "Oh, you know what? I only had 10 likes on that. There wasn't a lot of attraction. I didn't get much out of it." But somebody had explained to me, said, instead of thinking about the people that did not pay attention, think about those 10 people that did. The 10 people that did, to stop and slow down for a minute. And Susie, hey, I really want to thank you for my support in my clothing line. That was very nice of you to like it. I hope you're having an amazing day today. And not even bring up business, not bring up if you need hey, these are on sale. Hey, they're 2-for-1s today. Because people, they get so much of that, but what they don't get hardly any of is like a text, a reach out with somebody being nice and just saying, thank you for your support. Thanking them, that was so nice of you. And then moving on to the next person, and similar thing, you're like, hey, I want to thank you. That was very nice for you to take the time today. I appreciate it. That was super awesome. Spend a minute, look into that person. Who knows? They might be friends with somebody you want to reach out to. They may have a similar hobby. People like them. They might like rock climbing or mountain biking. I notice you mountain bike, so do I. I have a such and such bike. Thank you, Frank. And a Huffy bike that's great on this kind of rock. I suggest if you're going out to this trail, take a left instead of a right. You'll get an amazing view. And then they're like, man, this person stopped. They did this. Then what I find is then they're going to be interested. They already raised their hand. They liked it. Now they're like going to pay more attention to you because you actually spent that time. I believe when it comes to like social media, online sales, that we spend so much time in the marketing. And I won't lie, I've even been guilty to where I'm like pumping out so much and so much, especially right now in the time that we're in, it's more than ever because we need it. We need to pump out. That if we spend that time, no matter how small the group is, it's really not the size, it's more the quality. And it could just take a little bit of quality to change everything.
I think those are such great points. And I think one of the things that happens a lot when we're running a business is that we get this idea that it's about us. And in reality, it's not about us at all. And so when we can kind of shift our mindset, and that's kind of what I've been hearing you say this whole time, is that business isn't about us, it's about the client, it's about the customer. And what do they really want? What do they really need? And how can I serve them? And then it takes on a totally different feel and a totally different essence and energy.
No, definitely. If you go that direction as far as, how can you change your day? How can you listen to them? Because if you're involved in any type of business, they're researching, they're being pitched. But if you're that one that's listening to what they really want, what their need is, what the real problem is, versus, oh, you're gonna love this, you're gonna love this. Look at this, look at this,
Right.
Look at this other shiny thing, and this other shiny
thing. It's like, oh my God, and you know what I mean? And it, like we right now, High Vibe Nation, we vibrate at high levels. So it's almost like we have to, with people, we can stay there and also filter it to people on doses to where they can take it in. Because not everybody can take it by like a jug. We can,
right.
But not everybody else. All the other people are like, ooh, slow down.
So true.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I've had it to where I come in, I notice, I'm like, I'm like, man, I came in really strong in that room. And where people have said to me, I said, they said they like you, but they asked like, are you drinking like 50 Red Bulls today? What's the story? What's going on? They're like, they drug test that guy.
People are on fire, huh?
Yeah. And it's just so exciting. It's our passion just breathed out. And we have to like take a step back and breathe in and just deliver it proper sometimes, 100%, because it is. And it goes back to where I said as far as like knowing ourselves and appreciating ourselves and how we come off to people is super important, how we're showing up. You know what I mean? It's super, super important, definitely. Unless you don't care and you just go, rah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, honestly, because my whole journey has been about caring about what people thought, because I was trying to meet up to people's expectations, because there was a lack of understanding in myself, and so much of where I have grown to where I'm at right now is in loving that self. I no longer am trying to meet up to that perfectionist platform anymore to be liked and loved. I found the love on the inside. And so I've been hearing you say that over and over, is as you get more and more in touch with what brings you fulfillment and what centers you in happiness and joy in yourself. I mean, the business you're in right now, the business of real estate. I mean, when we talked, you said, "Oh my God, I love what I do. And now I want to go and I want to teach all of the people that are in my organization, that same thing, to be successful, to love who they are, to have fun, to play."
No, 100%. And as far as just like you said, as far as outreaching to other people, it's not just changing clients' lives around us, but if we can do that more by masses, and it's changing people we work with, because I don't consider them working for us. We're partners. We're partners in this, and let me help you. Let me assist you. Let me show you the things that I struggled with. It won't be as much of a heartache if you take it in and drop the fear a little bit, and allow you, because now it's gone much bigger. We can help, let's say 100 clients, but one person doing that takes time. But as far as if we can help hundreds of agents, people that want a business in real estate, because the success level is very, very low in real estate. The average real estate person is over 90% now, doesn't last over 2 years in the business.
Wow.
I mean, they don't have the help. They don't have the support. They have normally thrown into a brokerage, depending what contract. And if they pay them a higher contract, they're not getting any help. So like, well, I'm paying you enough. If you can't figure this out, you got a book right here, 1, 2, 3, ABC, figure it out. And you can't, I mean, there's so much to learn in sales and customer service and compliance and state law, and the list goes on and on. But I'm like, I want to take the time. I want to take the time, and I want to be different. I want to separate myself from the herds, and I want to help and assist people. And I want to be that person. And that goes back again. It might be to where that selfish factor, but I'll own that as far as that is my fulfillment. If I can take hundreds of agents and saying, Johnny Richardson, I am where I am because of him. And that doesn't even mean I'm making money with all them. I'm talking about people, period. I'm in contact with realtors. There's plenty of realtors that I help and assist that I have no financial benefit with, zero. But I'm like, I love to put people in position to do better, to where they have a successful career and they're excited and they're happy to come home. Instead of having a fight with the spouse, they're happy about it. We did this. I made this accomplishment. We're going to go on this vacation, and just helping people and assisting people get into that state all across. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I can't even, it's hard for me even to hone it in and put it all into words, because to do that and help people, I mean, it does.
Well, that's so valuable. I mean, I think real estate is probably one of the most difficult fields to do that in. It's a competitive field, a very competitive field. And you're absolutely right. Like, there's not a lot of support. And so what you're saying, I mean, it's valuable across the board in any industry, but that is a particular industry where you really have to differentiate yourself. And you obviously have figured out how to do that, but also you've done it from the heart. And so I think, it's really just so amazing to hear your perspective, and for people to have the opportunity to see it from that perspective, because that's not a perspective that gets shared a lot.
Yeah, it definitely, no, you don't hear about it. You hear about the rah, 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 made a lot of money, getting a new car, all that new stuff. I closed 3 deals. That's what you hear. I mean, that is.
Right.
And like taking it from a different angle, you'll do more and you'll help more people and more people will be excited. I mean, no, 100%. And once again, it's the steps that I've taken to help myself. And now I want to take all that knowledge, everything I have. Like right now, people around me, they even tease me a little, like, you're on like 10 webinars a week. And I'm like, well, that's because I want to learn more and help more people. And I just want more, because and having more tools in your toolbox to help and assist somebody, put them on track so they don't have to go through as much. They can't. But there's just one thing that you can't do for somebody no matter what, and that's remove the fear. You can help and coach them and assist them. It's up to them at the end of the day when they pull down that fear and they say, okay, let me take the shot. Let me do it. But that also comes along with patience with people as well. And that's something that was very challenging for me.
Yes. Talk about that for a second. Talk about patience and how you're, using the people in your organization as an example.
So to give you an idea, like my nickname back years ago, they would call me, they said, that flower, the impatient, well, that's Mr. Johnny Richardson. Because I was like that bad. They were like anything. I was like, no, now, always. Now getting older and seasoned more into my career. So I said, you know what, if I'm going to help people and assist people, I have to learn to have patience. So I have to be better at having systems in place because not everybody operates the same. I'm good on the fly. Is accountable, being accountable to where when you say you're going to do something and have a meeting, you're going to have that meeting because people are expecting that is what it comes down to. So I keep myself in line because if I said I need to be patient with myself and stay structured and learn that if I'm expecting them to grow and us have patience together and do this together and do this proper is have a tight system so everybody can learn from it and it's a cookie cutter system. So everything I'm putting out there, I'm practicing what I'm preaching on a regular basis, the work ethic, everything across the board that I've learned since my early 20s. And also at the same time to where everybody's at a different level. Person A comes in, like we have Stephanie and a Justin, hunters in this room. So Stephanie and Justin came in and they had a little bit of experience. Justin had a job at that time. And Stephanie was rah, rah, rah. And I said, I was like, man, that's awesome. Justin was a little bit more technical. Hunter's a bit more technical. They're all different levels, different experience. I said, let me give them all the proper information and let me be patient and let them learn and absorb the information at their level. And then sure enough, the pieces fit in where they start having production. They start having results without me freaking out and like, what's going on? I've taught you everything. Like I would have been years ago, to be honest. And I'm like, I've taught you it all. Do you know what kind of work I put in? Do you know how many hours to stay up? Nobody really cares about that. You know that. But you know yourself, but they don't want to hear that. They want help. They want to get there. And if you truly, truly, truly care about helping them grow their career, you'll slow it down, your clock a bit, slow your down, keep putting it in that system you put in place, and be patient. The result is going to happen. They are going to get it, but they're at a different stage, and you have to be patient for that. You have to be. They didn't go through 9 years of the car business, 8 years of the car business, timeshare. They didn't have the Bob McCormicks, the Skips in their life. They didn't have all these people. They got you, and they got all of it. So you got to dial it in and feed it into them as a process without the jug. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm overexcited about doing it with them, and I'm excited about their success. and then getting them into a spot where they're financially healthy and excited and that's what really builds a business and a friendship and a partnership and a family. Really, I shouldn't even really say a business because it's more of a family when it comes to it.
Mm-hmm.
It is 100%. So that with patients, that was probably one of my biggest challenges that I've gotten better at. Not perfect, better, and I get better every day. I definitely do. Now when I get frustrated, I just go into a closet by myself and scream. Nobody can hear me.
Well, and I think that's such a great point because, you know, sometimes when you're the student, you're looking at the teacher and you're thinking, how do they get it all right? How do they know it all? You know, and the reality is they don't. You know, they're always learning too, but they're just a little bit further down the line. That's really it.
Yeah, no, definitely, no, 100%. They're just on their journey. We all have their journey. We definitely do. We all have their journey.
Yep.
And it's almost like sometimes you want to almost do things for people, I found. So I'm like, I want to do it. I want them to get a result. But not everybody wants that. They don't feel that satisfaction. You did it for them. They made money and they almost got the commission check and don't want it. They're like, I didn't earn this. You know I didn't. It's like, sure, you got them a result, but you did it all the way. So during that patience with them, you have to let them go through the growing pains. Like what we said at the beginning, no pain, no gain. Everybody has to go through a bit of the growing pains in order to get to that life. And it's just allowing them to get to that portion on how long it is or, you know, how short it is, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're setting the environment, you're setting the pace in the environment, but it sounds like there's a lot of trust involved there too. Because, you know, talking about that high vibe and, you know, you're setting the stage for fun and trust. And at the same time, them being able to come to you for assistance if that's what they choose, but you're also willing to, you know, be a teacher supplying information because you want them to succeed. You want them to,
100%,
you know, do good.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, it's just like I went through my stages. Want to make sure they're in the right spot. You know, is this the right spot for you? Because the last thing I want is to guide somebody and force somebody in a spot. Maybe it's not for them. Maybe it isn't. Maybe this isn't your true calling at the end of the day, and that's okay. If I've helped somebody and assisted somebody get to the next stepping stone in their life, and that gets them to the, you know, oh my God, this is it. I mean, that's an achievement on its own. It is.
That's such a great point too, because I think a lot of times, you know, people feel like, well, I don't know what I could really do that's that important or would really make a difference. And it doesn't have to be something big.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I mean, everybody's achievements are different sizes. You know, some of us look at it's got to be super, super, super huge. There are a lot of us out there to where the smallest amount of success is really big and blows up their heart and has that excitement all the way. Like I'll tell you one thing that I find difficult is along those small achievements is a good healthy standard is to celebrate small wins.
Yes.
Me, I know that I tell people that, but I'll be honest, that's one thing I don't practice because I know me. When I celebrate a small win, I'm like, oh, let's have more fun. So I think about it for a half a second. I'm like, let's keep moving. I want everybody around me, celebrate your small wins. But some reason with me, and you know, call it contradictive, but I'm like, I know I don't stop to smell the roses because I want to keep on going. Because if people are counting on me and doing that, I don't want to get caught up and take too much time off because I'm more excited about getting them to future levels and more success. Definitely do. So helping them get to those small wins is really what gives me. If I can get 10, 20 people to little tiny wins, I'm super excited. That's a big win for me. That's great. I mean, that is awesome. That is. So no, 100%. Those wins are important.
Wow, I love it. Well, it sounds like you really know yourself very well. And go ahead and share with our audience how they can get a hold of you. I mean, can you believe it's already past the hour?
Oh
We've
my
just been having
goodness.
such an amazing time.
I know, it's great. If you're going to use social media, you can reach me on Instagram as Johnny Richardson Jr. and then Johnny Richardson through Facebook. And then there's a link below. Can they see this link? I'm assuming
Yep, they can all see it.
They can see that. That's a brand new we just redesigned our website. So I just noticed that profile on there. I have a meeting with them tomorrow, so that may come off. So
Okay.
it's johnnyrichardsonsimplest.com. So just keep that as a note if you need that. Easiest way to reach me is on Instagram, Johnny Richardson Jr. It always gets through. And I'll put out are these recorded and they keep going out?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'll leave my direct cell as well. This is my personal cell, not my company number.
Mm-hmm.
My direct cell is 702-403-8363. So you can always call. I have no problem. Anybody can call me on my cell, and that doesn't mean you want real estate tips or this or anything else. I really like what we talked about from the very beginning. It's about making relationships and making them and maintaining them is what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. So I'm all about just creating more relationships and any help I can be with anybody across the board. You know, even if it's advice as far as athletic wear with Ashley, that's awesome as well. So anyway, I can be helped. So it's super cool. I appreciate you two lovely young ladies having me on tonight. And it's been a lot of fun. It definitely has.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching in tonight. We are absolutely so grateful for each and every one of you. Pamela and I, you know, we brought this show together because we wanted to have amazing people like Johnny on, but every one of you are amazing, and please share this out. We absolutely appreciate that. Heart us up anytime too. We don't mind that either. But you can reach us at www.thehighvibenation.com. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, you can sign up there on our calendar. And until next week or our next interview, have an amazing day, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.